All right, welcome to classwork lesson number 21, more equations of lines. We're going to review a little bit that we did in lesson 20 on graphing lines, and then we're going to take it even further today. So let's take a look at what is called the slope-intercept form of a line. We already talked about this a little bit in the last lesson, but the slope-intercept form of an equation of a line is this y equals mx plus b. Now let's take this apart a little bit. First of all, we know that m always stands for the slope, right? So the slope, and we talked about this in the last lesson, the slope is the change in y over the change in x, meaning how do I get from one point to the next? What is the change in my y values, the up or down? And what is the change in my x values, the left and right? Usually we like to write it as a ratio form, but it's not always a ratio. Sometimes it's a whole number, and sometimes we have to write it as a ratio if it is a whole number. But also the b is the y-intercept. It is where the line crosses the y-axis, okay? So let's take a look at what this all means, y equals mx plus b, and how we use it when we graph lines. So let's look at exercise number 1. It says for each of the following equations, write the slope of the line in ratio form and the y-intercept. Then graph the line and label it with its equation, okay? So we have this equation here, y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Now, we know that this part right here, this 1/2 is my slope. So I'm going to write that down, okay? My slope in this case equals 1/2, and I denote it as m. So 1/2. And what does that mean exactly? Well, remember the top number tells me up or down. So if it's a positive 1, that tells me that I am going up 1. Let's make this a nice color here, maybe yellow. Okay, so this means I'm going up 1. And then this bottom number tells me right or left, right? So since it's positive, again, this is telling me to go right because positive is right. And then I'm going right too, okay? And then the next piece of information that's important to note is this positive 3. Why did I highlight the plus? Well, I highlighted the plus to tell me that this is a positive, so I'm starting on positive 3 on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and start plotting. Okay, so again, my y-intercept is positive 3, so I'm starting at positive 3 on my y-axis there. Now I'm following these steps, these directions to get to the next points. So it says up 1 and right 2, so let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna use my guidelines and find my next point. So there's where my next point is. Again, I'm doing the same thing, up 1, right 2. I'm just following this pattern, following these directions that tell me how to get to each point, okay? Up 1, right 2, make a point. 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 I get so good at it, I don't even need my guidelines, okay? Now, in the last lesson, we started talking about how to find the points on the opposite side. And we said, you know, what you do is you do the opposite of the directions that were initially. I highlighted this area because I know these points are going to be in this spot. So I know if I do something wrong and they're not in this location, then I did something wrong. I got to go back to it. So instead of going up 1, I'm going to go down 1. So let's make it yellow. All right, so I'm going to go down 1, and then instead of right 2, I'm going to go left 2. So I'm doing the opposite, and this opposite way is getting me the other side of my line. There's another point. Does it make sense that it's right there? Yes, it looks like they're all going to connect. Let's do it one more time because it looks like I can do one more point. Boom. All right, so it looks like I got all the points I need. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. First, I'm going to get rid of my guidelines. So remember, the guidelines aren't part of the line, so we don't need them after we find our points. The only purpose to them is to find the points. Once I've found the points, I don't need them anymore. And then what I want to do is I want to connect all the points. I want to extend my line past both end points to show that it continues in both directions. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit quicker for B, so let's try B. Again, my slope is this -2, Remember, if we have a whole number, we're going to put it over 1. Okay, so my m equals -2 over 1. And my y-intercept in this case is +8. Again, it comes straight from the equation of the line, right? So let's make this, I don't like that. Let's go yellow on this one. Okay, so I am going to start on the y-axis. My y-intercept is 8, so +8. I'm right there. Okay, now I'm going to again follow my slope. My slope says down to right 1. Since it's negative, I'm going down. So down to right 1, make a point. Okay, down to right 1, make a point. Down to right 1, make a point. In this case, they connect on a nice easy dot, so that's really cool. Something that we're going to look at a little bit further into 8th grade when two lines connect at a point. What does that mean about that point? Okay, but for now, we're just graphing these lines. All right, so I'm just continuing this pattern. Looks like this last dot would be right down there. All right, I don't have any room for one over here, but remember, if I was going to find one, it'd probably be up here in this location, right up here somewhere. Okay, and it would be the reverse. So instead of going down to right 1, I'm going opposite. That would be up 2 and left 1, so it would be like right here somewhere. Okay, but since I don't have any room for it, I don't have to worry about that one. All right, you only have to graph the points that come on your or that fit on your graph paper. Okay, so let's connect all these and we'll be done with this line. Okay, connecting them all. All right, not the best line, all right, but it'll do. Actually, if you select it in Canva, you can kind of move it to make sure it's hitting through all of them. Okay, try to make it as neat and exact as you can, and make sure again that you got your arrows. All right, last step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you label each. So I'm going to label this one first. This one was A, which was y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And then this one over here was B, which was y equals -2, and that's really hard to see, x plus 8. Okay, there we go. Make it a little bit easier to read. Okay, so you guys are going to try C and D on your own. All right, good luck with graphing those, and I'll see you in the next video.